If this is your first time at Journey, yes, we do that every week. We are passion-driven. We are proud of our love for Jesus Christ, and we rock it out. And we really love to do that. So welcome to your first Journey worship experience if that's your first time with us. Also, when you're late today, if you did not get a popcorn bag, we have a welcome bag that has information about why we meet the theater, what our mission is, what we're about, why we're doing it, and also the CD in there and a free thing of popcorn in the microwave. So if you did not get one of those, make sure you grab one on the way out for your first time here. We've had an incredible week, but we have an incredible Bible study coming up for you ladies. I've been previewing some of the material that Cindy and Carol are going to be teaching and sharing, and so we would like you to put on the welcome card if you want to go to this study. Beth Moore is a wonderful teacher. There's some video material, there's some book reading material, and you're going to be exploring the Psalms with this Bible study. And it's a very rich Bible study. Last week with Easter, we talked about the temple and the Passover and all the crowds of people that would come annually for that. And this study is a look at the Psalms, and often they would sing or they would chant as they went to the temple, as they came for the sacrifices. So it really bridges really well with where we have been at and where we're going. So ladies, talk to Cindy, talk to Carol, put on the welcome cards so we can order the proper books and have everything ready for you. And it's going to be a fantastic time. It has been an amazing week since Easter. We have had phone calls, emails. We had record attendance here last week. We had 156 here at the theater on Easter Sunday. It was fabulous. We had record attendances at other churches that we know about in our network of churches. And as the week went on, as I got more emails and more exciting things happened, we had an amazing God thing happen on Friday afternoon. I want to share briefly before we jump into our talk this morning. Many of you have heard some of the visions, some of the dreams. The journey is we would like to have an outreach center. We would like to have a coffee shop in town to serve and minister to people and have concerts at that coffee shop and do all sorts of things for the city of Rochester. That's one of our reaching goals. We want to reach our city. Well, this week Bill and I went to look at a place. Then Rachel came and joined us during her lunchtime. So the three directors of Journey met, and we were in right on Broadway. There's a former hair salon that's right next to CJ's Midtown Lounge. That place is up for lease. It has everything that we want on our shopping list and more that we've envisioned for this coffee shop. It is beyond our dreams right now. It's the place that we would like to push and challenge and raise up the passion of Journey. The people that know about this dream, we're going to talk a lot more about it, but this looks like the place that God has opened up for us. The basement is completely dry for storage, tons of storage space and open area. We have a main floor of 1,600 square feet to gut and redecorate and turn into a coffee shop, hangout. A fabulous place right across from a new college university, which is one of our dreams, to be downtown and reach the new university. We are literally across from the old Galleria. There's parking everywhere all around us. And there's a third floor that has not been used for years. We went through that with flashlights like Scooby-Doo. It was hilarious. We had a great time. But the potential is unbelievable for this place. So we are asking you to do two things at this stage. Pray. Pray that God would literally part the waters, clear everything off, and let this happen. Let this be the place. Pray for resources and finances. We have tradesmen, we have electricians, we have people that Dave knows and other people know. We have the sweat equity people to make this come alive. That's not the issue. Is this the place? And will you rise to the challenge to give and give generously? To let us know who you know that might give generously. To who might be excited about this. I've talked to other churches over the years. I know there's other believers in town that are waiting for this place to happen, for someone to do what we're dreaming of doing. So join us in this adventure. Join us in where we're dreaming and going. And every time you go up and down Broadway, pray, think, that might be the place. And we are really, really excited about what God has brought to us at the end of an amazing week of Easter. But as we move into our discussion this morning, it's kind of like, okay, Easter's over with. What now? You know, we had an amazing Easter. We had a wonderful time here. We had record attendance. I called the other churches in our movement of churches throughout the Southeast. Our daughter church had record attendance. They had 85 people at the crux. Paul and his church have been averaging about 40 on a weekend. Little tiny town of Houston. We have a church connection there, and it's a small country church. And they have a balcony, they have a main area, average 40 people per weekend usually. They lost count at 80, and the balcony was packed to capacity. They think it was 100 people in this little town of Houston. They have no idea where these people came from. In Hayfield, Cedar Creek, another church, 149 people in Hayfield showed up. Their average attendance is right around 90. God did amazing things on the Easter weekend. But what now? What about this buzz? What about the excitement? Where do we go from here? We have talked about freedom. We had an amazing drama presentation. People phone called, emailed. Monday morning in my office, a person gave their life to the Lord afresh and anew with tears and celebration. I mean, talking amazing things happened this week. But what now? What do we do with it? Was Easter just that bubble that we experience and we forget about? There's a lot of people that come to church and they plug in at Christmas and they plug in at Easter and attendance numbers go up, great excitement happens, and then they disappear. And they think, okay, I've got my spiritual gas tank and I'll see you at Christmas. And that's really all it is. They've been filled up. And it's like, okay, we don't want that. That's not what we're trying to get. So what do we do after this? There's the Apostle Paul writes so much in the New Testament. But in his letter to the church in Philippi, early believers, they were just beginning. They were babes in the faith. They were seeking. They had questions. They had hardships. Everything you and I have in our life, they had. And he writes a section in my Bible, chapter 3 of Philippians, says, the priceless value of knowing Christ. Okay, now that we've experienced it, now that we can say we know Him, what's the real long-term value of this? He lays out where he was at, who he was. A Pharisee, a teacher, religious. He knew in his head. But now he's going to move us someplace else. And the last two verses are powerful verses. They pump me up, they light me up, and they challenge me whenever we go to these. And verse 10, it says, this is Paul writing, I want to know Christ and experience the mighty power that raised Him from the dead. I want to suffer with Him, sharing in His death, so that one way or another I will experience the resurrection from the dead. I want to know Christ, he said. Not just know Christ in my head. I want to know Christ. I want to experience the mighty power. To raise someone from the dead, to bring him back to life, is not a cheap little thing, folks. There's power that only comes from God. Paul says, I want to know that resurrection power. I want to know what it's like to die and to live again. He says, I want to suffer. I want to know the suffering. I want to experience the suffering. I want to experience death and come back to life. Not the way that Jesus did, but in an emotional, dynamic, powerful, life-changing way. How many of you would like to know that power? How many of you would love to know there's more than just an Easter experience, there's a transformational experience, and you get to know Him? It's not simply about hearing, it's about receiving. And I think so many of our churches today, we do a great job on Easter, we do a great job on Christmas, we present the gospel so often. But few churches, few real believers, we have people that say they know Christ, they are Christians, but they don't live the power of a resurrected life. They don't show that something radical happened. They just experience on an intellectual level, but not on an experiential level. And Paul says, let's go deeper with knowing Him. What if our churches live this way? What if we as believers live this way? What would it take to have us move this direction? 2,000 years ago, the ladies came to the tomb on what we call Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday. The earth shook. The stone rolled away. They were coming to finish wrapping up this dead man called Jesus, the rabbi, their teacher. And they came preparing to put the final burial stuff on, and He was gone. And Mary encounters Jesus in the garden. There's a personal encounter with the risen Savior. She runs back and tells all the other disciples, and it says they're hiding. They're in an upper room. They're kind of afraid, and she just starts telling them, I've seen him. He's alive. And they're thinking, yeah, you're a nut job too. That's basically what it comes down to. American Revised Bontrager Standard says she was a nut job. They didn't believe her. And in fact, Easter night, they're huddled up in a room. It says the door was locked. And Jesus appeared to them. Now they start believing. She's not a nut job. Everyone is there except for one of the disciples, one of the original 12. Thomas is not there. Most of us would call him Doubting Thomas. We've heard the nickname before. That's where it comes from. He was not there. And they try to explain to him. They try to share this amazing truth. He's alive. Really, it happened. And he thinks they're all nut jobs too now.